working? Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me okay now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I've got an answer with the microphone, as you can see. So can you hear me? I can hear me now. Yeah, great. Thanks for that. So let's just catch up. Have a look. Copenhagen have a goal back if he went in at 2-0. The draw did end, but not really in Estactois' favour. Now this is an opportunity for Stade Reims to leap over Estactois with a win in the last 15 minutes. Real Sociedad have a goal back against Real Oviedo. If you topped up at the 0-2, good move. Thank you very much, everybody. I am my own IT department, so I have to suss these things out for myself. And luckily we got there in the end. Moving on down, so I would suspect Sociedad will be looking for that equaliser at some point. Get rid of that one. Don't think we'll be playing League 2 today. This is an interesting one. Como coming off the back of a 1-1 away at AC Milan, i.e. they can keep the big boys quiet. Well, look at that recovery from Fleetwood from 1-2 down a few minutes ago. And they were itching at me at 1 point. 9-1 home favourite. What a pity I didn't give that a little punt. So watch out for, we know all about Cesc Fabregas's Como, don't we? He's going to park the bus, a la Arsenal. The old lady, well, Como don't have a good record for that second goal against the big boys. You can see that 1-1, Coppa Italia, Napoli, 0-0, Atalanta, 1-1, AC Milan. This is where it tends to peter out. They can beat the likes of Fiorentina and other mid-table sides very convincingly. The problem with the old lady is they're conceding 2 goals very, very regularly indeed against all comers, but arguably against a series of sides a little better than Como. It's certainly one, if you fancy the old lady for insurance, got to lay that over 1.5 goals for sure. Venezia, surprised to see them a goal down at Pescara, but this is top v bottom. You could lay over 1.5 goals now if you fancied it, and then just you get better value. 3-3. Estactois coming back to 3-3. Now I've got, that's my Oviedo. What I did here, and I hope I'm right, I was already in Sociedad +1. So the profit I made here was equal to the loss in the +1. So I got out of both. I've now laid over 3.5 goals, back Sociedad +1. I hope I've made the right move. The angle in is to really bail if it's 0-2 to 1-2 and you've topped up, so to speak. Really decent odds, to be honest, 21s to back Sociedad. You're gambling on Real Oviedo being as poor as they usually are. So let's have a quick walk through. Hope you're all okay. And the volume is still working. So Copenhagen, not been at their best. You can see the momentum is all over the place. It's a match dominated in waves. They're not their best, 7th in the league. Compare that to usually 1 or 2. And you can see they're having a poor season. So not that trustworthy, but I suppose 2-0 is always a good entry point, isn't it? This is Oviedo strangling Sociedad at the moment, aren't they? They're not bringing their momentum up anything above 50. It's a good defensive performance so far from Oviedo. Can they hold on for a precious 3 points. Stade Reims, well, you can look at the Estac Trois result. It's 3-3 currently for Estac Trois. These are first and second in French Ligue 2, both drawing. Now we go to the live scores here on the Diana doors, and we can see how it affects currently the draw effects and how 3 points will affect. This is where the live standings will help us at the end of the season. So we're looking at Trois and Reims in isolation. So this is with the points currently taken into account. So you add 2 to that for Reims, and they are top on goal difference. Add 2 to this, and the gap broadens. So this is 2 sets of draws. Like Darmstadt earlier on, which I pointed out, 2 sets of draws which could be season defining. Reims and Estac Trois. Up to you when you want to get involved. 1.25 tends to be my opening gambit. Ideal, of course, is to really get that time pressure. 85th to 90th minute. Lads, we could change our season with a single goal here. This is when, hopefully, the momentum will start moving upwards late. Momentum for either side, ideally for the top 2 side, will start moving up, hit the 70, hit the 80, maybe get a light like this. Look at the stats starting to rise as well. Like this is the kind of upwards movements you want at the end of a match. The Palermo thing that you're seeing. No, sorry, the Südtirol that you're seeing at the moment. So this is for later on. We're on the 80th minute already. So I want to make you aware of that. You could bring the matches up if you wanted. Estac Trois. Now I've got a +2 in at the moment, which is scaring me a little because I conceded. Oh, so I'm already out of that, so that's good. You can play the +2 market if you'd like, if you still fancy the side, but they must score the next goal. You saw with Cardiff earlier on. If you don't score the next goal, you're toast. So +2 worked with Marseille, break even as well. So that's S2. Just ready this for a lay the draw. You could even just get involved now, depending on where you want to go. Do you want to start at 1.25 or do you want to play it by ear and wait for a momentum shift? Reims, they only have to score a goal and they've got the chance to go top against Amiens. So, dominance there didn't turn into a goal. There you go. 1.6 home favourite though, not expected to, but you saw a quick reaction from them then, didn't you? That's just an example of momentum. You can see that rising now with Real Sociedad. Let's have a quick look at the Bundesliga, which I have omitted with 10 minutes gone. Haven't heard any goals come up in that particular competition yet. Work our way down. Union Berlin, Bayer Leverkusen, a bit of a tough one to crack, this one. Bayer Leverkusen are starting to knit together a decent run. Don't forget, 2+ goals expected of Bayern Munich today, that's for sure. The Wolf, slightly favoured, but only because Augsburg 5 defeats and 6 away. Augsburg have been hitting a little bit of form, as you can see there. You cannot discount winning momentum, regardless of season-long form. FC Köln against the Hoff. Well, the general rule is with the mighty Hoff, if they are favourite, they've still, and over evens, they've still got an excellent opportunity to score 3 goals. That's been their go-to pattern the whole season, and they tend to see a breakthrough before half-time. So the Bundesliga, a little quiet at the moment. The Hoff just warming up nicely. Augsburg, who have the better recent form, but awful away form. So which is going to be on top? It's a difficult call to make. But that's where the in-play stats will help, and they are nodding towards Augsburg in the first 10 minutes of the match. Bayern, well, at those odds, if it's 0-0 after 20 minutes, you might want to have a look at the first half goals market there. So those are the matches of interest. This is an odds on list. Hope you're all okay over on YouTube. So let's just get my odds on favourite list up, because it's going to be important at 3 o'clock, because you've already seen Salford absolutely bossing their 3. Absolutely crazy. My games here, these are all odds on favourites for today. So you've got a good handle into the matches. You can investigate if you'd like that Czech Chance League, those 0-0s. Are they going to be vulnerable second half, for example? Tends to have a good strike rate, odds on favourite matches for not ending 0-0. That could be an angle in, couldn't it? Already had and that I'm a bit 2 to 3-2 within the last half hour or thereabouts. Odds on favourites in the Championship, Middlesbrough. Is this going to ignite their 2+ goal habit? You'd think so, wouldn't you? Do you trust them today? Millwall, odds on at home to Pompey. Southampton. Now, does this signal a return to their 3-goal form that they've had earlier on under their change in manager? Watford, a marginal odds on, and Ipswich, just a tad odds against, but given their league position, worth a look at. Bolton odds on at home against Blackpool. I don't know my geography. Is this a local derby? Huddersfield Barnsley should be, shouldn't it? Local derby as well. So just be careful with trusting odds on favourites there. Luton at home to Burton and Stockport at home to Wigan. I did all of the look in the standings in the video this morning. League 2, Salford. Well, wouldn't be trusting them with stolen money today. An example of me getting tempted into League 2 and then the side cocking things up. Despite me doing all my checks and the in-play stats all lining up, they lose 0-3 or 1-3 or whatever it was. Terrible stuff. Bromley, odds on against. Odds on away. Cambridge United keep delivering, and there's a goal before half-time. And FC Köln have it. It's something for them to look after. Now, if my instincts are correct, the mighty Hoff should be signalling 2 or 3 goals today, just given the fact they are favourite. So this could be a decent play. Cambridge United got a match. Notts County odds on at home as well, and Lens go top with a win. That's confirmation of the whole. For Real Sociedad, excellent stuff. Now, if you've topped up earlier on and you've stayed in, well done. I need to free up some of this cash for the possible play with Köln. Now, I got in at 21s. I wish I'd stayed now. It's all the way down to 5.1. But I didn't have insurance. And it would have cost me a little bit extra. But look at the reward now. Having laid Oviedo at 1.65, you could back them at 10.5s. Now, I went +1. So that's a decent enough return. That's remnants of the loss from earlier on that I got out of with that £11 profit in the match odds market. Had I stuck to my guns, that one too, of course, it's after timing of the highest order. Of course, had I stuck to my guns, you'd be sitting rather rosy here. Now, I might just lock this in. And I think I've played that one very well, considering I got involved at 0-1. You could have seen value, of course, at 0-2. Those of you with a glass half full, given the amount of time left in the match. Look, 52 minutes. So happy with that. Now, can we trust the Hoff? And firstly, do FC Köln have something to grab hold of? Those are the key questions So I'll have a look at that. There's a confirmation of that Sociedad Oviedo. And the fact that this match has turned up in this list means that the Hoffer odds on favourites, or were at least, 2.05 is not the strongest in the book. But my argument is that they just keep delivering. So initially, I think I might just... I need to have a look at the standings as well. Bet Explore. Don't worry about that. I was going to show you board of Hoffenheim at certain odds this season. It has been a sight to behold. No shots on 2 off in a corner. No. 23 plus 3 is 26. They're not really going to be gaining much this season. The mighty Hoff, 45 plus 3 is 48. And they're going to be within striking distance of the 50-point club with a win today. Leading 2-1. I don't know if you saw value in that one earlier on. I was going to be waiting till evens, but it looked a very obvious play, top against bottom. But it's all done and dusted by half time, which is a real... Yeah, that's what you'd expect. A goal before half time, Bayern Munich and Eintracht Frankfurt. Augsburg are looking quite good against the Wolf today. That could signal that we point more toward season-long, their recent form. And I now having backed Sociedad. Sod's law, they go and pull it off, the bar stewards. Oh, the joy. Let me know in the comments if any of you stayed in at 20s, because you are wise folk indeed. Could do with that. That's 120 for a £5 stake. Don't forget the lay of Oviedo as well. Even just a fiver, it adds to the kitty. That would have been rather nice. It just goes... That is a huge shock. So you must exploit it in some way, shape or form. I think we can get rid of Venezia now. The angle in was, for me, waiting for them to get to evens, asking a little too much of a 1.25 league leader against bottom of the league. Estac Trois have made it 4-3. And again, I'm cashing out too early. I'm not trusting them. But did you lay the late draw? I forgot to remind you of that. Don't forget to lay the late draw in the Ream match as well. Did you lay the late draw? I told you to, because now Ream have to react. 1.1, perfect for me. I'm getting in at 109. Ream must react. They must react. 1.06, 32. Okay. Got to react to that Estac Trois late winner. Let me know in the comments of the draw in the Estac Trois match. Good stuff in French Ligue 2. Getting very interesting indeed. Got out at 2-2, says Stuart. None of you got in. Oh, 3-3. Oh, Oviedo. What are Sociedad doing? And if you played as Stuart did at the 2-2, wise move indeed. And if you got out at the 3-2, you must have got out at the 3-2. Don't be an idiot. Because these things happen at the end of the season. It's looking forlorn, though, to be honest, for Oviedo. And this is an absolute rarity. 3 goals in a single match. Their manager will be having a nosebleed later on. But it's edging them. Well, it's not edging them closer, is it? It's a long, long way to go. 7, 8 points. And that's hoping all the others lose and you win. 8 points to safety. A win, of course, takes this to 19, and then you're knocking on the door of the 20-point club, which is still has plenty of members and plenty of L's. So it's not a forlorn hope for Oviedo, but this is a sloppy performance from Real Sociedad. But it's also a great example of the trading element as well. Getting all the greens done and dusted at the right time. That's because you'll make an extra 3 or 4 quid. You're in Egypt. Get rid of it. Well, that's not a shock at all. Marry that with the odds, 1.09, and off we go. Could be a bit of fun from Frankfurt. They do have a couple of goals in them. Kerner looking pretty rosy against the mighty Hoff. I don't think I've played yet. Yes. We might have to wait a second. You've got to bow to the in-play stats over your own personal opinion. Something I find difficult, to be honest. But it's showing clearly here, isn't it? At least it's very early in the match. Just waiting for a reaction from third in the league, Hoff. And I'm sure we're going to get it at some stage. Both of these sides don't like a draw either. The Hoff love a high-scoring win. I wish I'd show you the pre-match odds when they were winning, because some of them were over evens. Sociedad 3-3. Never have regrets about not staying in. Yes, indeed. We got the odd shift. That's what it's all about. And we get the value entry point as well. Ream disappointed with Estactua grabbing a late one. Ooh, Ream. That could change your season, boys. It's absolutely crucial that Ream got something with home advantage today, and when expected to get something as well. Now look, it's a 4-point gap. You see the swing, a Ream win, and it's, what was it today? 5, which is still doable. But more importantly, Ream have given Saint-Etienne a sniff, given Red Star a sniff, given Le Mans a sniff, and arguably 38 plus 3 is 41, given Dunkirk a sniff with that dropped 2 points. This is where this league and the Spanish League 2, Spanish Segunda, French League 2, Bundesliga 2, Italian Serie B, they're all coming alive at this stage of the season because we've got angles galore. Top v bottom, for example. Who would you trust a goal down? The answer was already answered for you before half-time. So let's have a look through some of these. Look at that Estactua win. Fabulous stuff. I think a main angle was at 0-2 to Pau earlier on. I played the +2 market there, which is the equivalent of playing the +1 market a goal down. Well, you've got to have a Desmond 3-3 Sociedad, given the need for points for both teams for different reasons. Let's sacrifice a little for a Desmond 3-3. Yeah, 109. Well, that's 23's already there, so just sacrifice for a bit of a Brucey bonus. And a little bit more at 106. So that'll just top it up nicely, and it's cost you next to nothing, and you still get a green at the end of the day. But having backed them at 21s, can you imagine my return at the 3-2? Juicy. Very, very juicy. I think there'll be plenty more. No, it's starting to degrade quickly. I was going to say it looks to be degrading a bit slow. Just looking for that late... Oh, Copenhagen have done it. Last gasp equaliser. I shouldn't have feared them, but they're not having a vintage season, but this is a gentle reminder to you. Getting into a play at 2-0 offers value and it offers lower risk. And if they pull it off, as Copenhagen have just done, then it's Merry Christmas. So if you followed the usual perennial Danish champions, they're in a hot bit of form. Hopefully they'll put in a bit of a run now. Just waiting for a Sociedad or a Oviedo winner. Goritza and Istro, we can get rid of these lower tiers, I think. Don't get tempted in with the better quality football. Keep an eye on the old lady. I'll show you something to latch onto. We go to soccer stats. It's just bad form against top sides away from home. So let's have a look. So we move that one down. Let's look for any scorelines. Union Berlin opener against Bayer Leverkusen in a tricky match to pick. But Bayer Leverkusen are putting together of a handy winning sequence. Here's the old lady. This will give you a quick précis down here. Unbeaten in 12 at home. Is that enough for you to get involved? 2+ goals scored in the last 4 and in the last 3 at home. That, for me, could tempt me to take this Como side on, particularly when you find their form against top sides away from home. Failed to score, failed to score, failed to score. Playing this lot, scored a single goal, failed to score. Now, if that pattern continues today, 1-1, as they just did against AC Milan, would be best case scenario for Como. Add that to the fact that Juventus have scored 2 goals here, both second half, by the way. 2 goals here, 2 second half. 5 here, 2 second half. 3 here, 2 second half. 2 second half. 1 second half. So we've got a possible half-time play. Como, though, are one of those sides who, if he can get a tune out of them, Cess, he could get them scoring that second goal and just holding firm. You can see how quiet they have kept Juventus. We need to see that second half goal Juventus turn up, don't we? Do you trust that? You're looking at the momentum from the first half. It's been Como keeping a lid on Juventus, not getting them over-excited at all. You can see that slight bump in the middle of the first half for Juve, and then Como bossed the beginning and bossed the end. It is one screaming out for an insurance play if you wanted to take it on. So that recent form for Juve, Champions League, Inter Milan, and they still scored 2. Lazio, and they still scored 2. Atalanta, that was in the cup. Are they up for the cup? So they've got the 2 goals in them, don't they? And with Como's obvious poor form, you can see there, but they did win 2-0 last time, which is intriguing. No luck with that 3-3 ending, but getting the green returning now, which is good. Could have been a far more profitable session for me there, but I do get a little scared when it goes to 0-2, particularly with a side who you don't even expect to score. I'm going to bring up the curl match, but obviously the Hoff haven't turned up just yet. They need a bit of Lucozade at half time. It's still 1.12, so there's a strong expectation of goals in this match. Hoff, well, that's very decent as well. It's also just a shot across the bow that at evens, they're not that strongly favoured today, but I'll keep an eye on this one. Just got to keep an eye, because when they turn up, they will turn up. You can see this start to rise. I've just got a feeling I should get involved, to be honest. Köln did score against Stuttgart and then conceded 3. They did score against Leipzig. They do score against the big boys. But where's that second goal? They scored 2 against Mainz in a battle of the bottom. And in the last 4 matches, they failed to score that second goal. So I think I might just tempt myself in now. I might rue the fact that it's a cautious market. You can see Hoffenheim +1 is pretty big. It's probably, well, Köln don't have any huge need, but the Hoff would like to enter the 50-point club sooner rather than later, wouldn't they? So I'm hoping that we're going to see a bit of a brown recovery for the away side as the momentum rises. And we're going to see the usual performance from the Hoff, which is a 2 or 3 goal haul today. And a tendency to deliver at odds on as well. Hope you're all okay over on YouTube. Everything going well. So let's work our way through again. In Italian Serie B, at half-time, this will be the best way to attack. Look at the live standings at this stage of the season. This is where you're going to get your motivating factors. And you'll see the scorelines within the live standings as well. And you'll see the actual points as they stand, which is the Venezia one you see playing Pescara, who, if they held on, would be on 21 points. With all of this lot in the 20-point club, it could have been a vintage win, but this is going the way of the form. Palermo leading, Catanzaro leading, all of the big boys in the top 5 doing what they want to be doing. Südtirol will be a little disappointed. They are playing Palermo and they need to take points off Palermo today. They're on an unbeaten run as well, aiming 3 points today, get them to 36 and within striking distance of Cesena and Juve Stabia. So for me, have a look at Südtirol second half. We might get a bit of fun out of them. Bari and Padova, well, the onus really is on Bari to end that draw. An extra 2 points for Bari is crucial, takes them to 24, and it brings Entella and Reggiana into the relegation squabble. So a huge, huge second half awaited for Bari. That would be one to eye second half. From a motivation perspective, Chelsea have the opener against Burnley. No surprise, Rosinia having a fair old season. Stockport and Wigan, one of these odds-on favourites matches. And the odds-on favourite has just equalised after conceding. Give us a chance, lads, eh? Come on. Watford 1-0 up, odds-on-ish. So no surprises, Chelsea VAR. Chelsea have been conceding 2 goals of late without it necessarily harming them. So watch out for that. I can't hear this, though. That's probably going to be better. I do need to be alerted when there's goals in odds-on favourite matches. Salford, yeah, thanks, guys. You decide to score a week late. Thanks very much for nothing. Wrexham opener against Ipswich. Ipswich don't tend to travel that well. These are the odds. Ipswich I just put in. They're not odds on. They're a touch of evens. Just to have a look at them, because we might get a tune out of them today. You can see the half warming up at the end of the first half. That's what I was looking at. So I'll pass this on to Telegram. I hope they understand when I'm doing a live stream that it's difficult to do both. So come on over to the live stream if you can. I'm going to be laying over 1.5 goals and backing Hoffenheim +1 away at FC Köln. Usually at favourite, and when fancied, they tend to score 2 or 3 goals. Como, I'm tempting myself in because of that poor record, consistently poor record of scoring 2 goals. So I might get myself involved in Como as well. We're hoping the Hoff turn up. Those of you who expect 2 or 3 from them can go straight to the match odds if you fancied it. Laying over 1.5 goals here. 1.23. A guard against Como's defensive strengths. Don't forget, this is a worrying play because they did beat Juventus 2-0 earlier on this season. So they've got that in the locker. 1.23 compared to 2.14. Again, I'm happy staying +1. It could arguably be 0-1 all the way to the 89th, 90th minute. A couple of those in the Eerste Divisie yesterday. Camberley Vorden and VVV Venlo. Both odds-on favourites at home, both dominating the stats, both 90th, 2nd, 93rd plus minute equalisers. So this is why I do the insurance, hoping to stay in to the death, and then the old lady get a very, very late equaliser, bringing on Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh no, he's not playing anymore, is he? That's what he tended to do at Juventus, get them the important equalisers. So Serie B, Bari, can they fight themselves out of trouble? Not favoured today at all, but keeping in, getting the equaliser as well against 13th place Padova. Plenty of story there. The onus is on Sotirol to take points from Palermo, but nothing doing much. But 34 attacks to 12. Do you see any value in laying Palermo? Because it's a must take points off your nearest rival match. Rakow tend to be perennial title holders in Poland, already leading. I'll get rid of them. I've got involved in Juventus, although I am warned about that 2-0 head-to-head win for Como last time. Catanzaro are 5th against Virtus Entella. Plenty of goals coming in, but none of any great interest. So 5th are leading. Not a surprise. I would be slightly sniffing at this had Virtus Entella taken the lead against the side with 3 consecutive Serie B wins to 0, no less. So I don't think there's going to be a play there with Catanzaro getting into the groove, looking like they're going to be winning to 0. So I can take that off the watch list. Maritimo Sporting B, it's a top 3 clash, so automatically, for me, it's a derby-style match. I wouldn't be playing that draw. It could peter out to a 0-0. But the need for points is greater from Sporting B, who break into the 40-point barrier with a win and within touching distance of Maritimo. So the onus really is on the away side. And you can see, look at that huge momentum from Sporting B. I wonder if she's related to Sporting Spice. All the way up, the momentum, I don't know how high, we're going to 88. So watch out for this second half. There's a good story for Sporting B. Must take points off Maritimo. Maritimo, well, Sporting B have avoided the draw as well in the last 5 matches. So it could be a fascinating one, second half. It's certainly got a good story for a 1.09, 1.06 lay, isn't it, of that draw? Because a draw will benefit these two greatly. But it is a derby-style match, which is why just temper your enthusiasm. 2.45 the favourite, Easter and Goritz. Give that one a miss. Odds on favourite goal coming in. And it's 1-2 Stockport and Wigan. Barnsley look like they've got the opener against Huddersfield. It looks like Wigan have taken the lead against Stockport. Very strong favourite, Stockport. So that's one. English League One we're going to be looking out for. Why are Stockport conceding 2 goals? The fact Stockport have scored is a good sign as well. But what on earth are they doing? And the Augsburg, their away woes continue. It was a difficult match to weigh up. 3 wins in 4 for Augsburg, but very, very poor away form, which is going to give which is going to dominate. So English League One. Let's have a look. What match was I looking for? Go to my odds on list again. It was a Stockport Wigan League One. I might have this one saved already. Perhaps I can't find it. League One. Oh, we've got a few more coming in. Stockport and Wigan League One. So keep an eye on this one. I don't think there's much for us to be reading 12 minutes in. It's 5th against 20th. It's a hell of a long way to hold on to a lead away from home against the top 5 side, who are already in the 50-point club. So they're pretty hot. Add 3 to that, and they are top 4. Other results pending, of course. The fact that you can't see Wigan suggests where their woes lie. There they are, 20th. They're above the relegation zone, or are they? I don't know if it's 5 places in this particular league, but far too near. A win, zoom, up to 37, and bringing Blackpool and Burton into that equation. So it could be an interesting match. The sound to Football 24, which is a pity, because I need to begin. I am here with the odds on favourites. There's a 3-0 for Palermo. Job done. Luton Town odds on. We've already seen. So Stockport and Wigan. I think we could see. You could have a look at the Wigan goals. Were they from open play? Were they lucky? Were they pens? It's Mr. Taylor having a good 11 minutes. He's already on a hat-trick. So an interesting match. I think there are going to be more goals in this one, but how do we exploit that while retaining value? Yeah, we don't know anymore. Keeping an eye on Bari. Got a good story. Second half beginning. Juve and Como and have come out of the blocks, have they? Well, one shot on target is not quite out of the blocks. One shot on, one shot off. Now, and there's all ye who sail the mighty ship Hoff. Love it. Now they're going to go on and score 2 or 3 now, and I'm going to root involved in the +1 or the match odds market. It's just their pattern this season. Got to find these patterns. You can see it's a bit of a drop down. £2 loss if I get out now. What's my net profit here? It's 16. It's pretty decent considering the first half is just ending. So well done to the mighty Hoff. Let me know that you got involved with the Hoff. I hope you did. I hope the live stream is going well. I'm just going to. It's a great stuff. It's a cash out if you wanted it. Don't forget, don't sniff at the green because it's 40 of £100 target, and you're cleaning up. You're getting rid of your liability, which is most important. You can see Bari are waking up, aren't they? We know the story. They must win today. Must win. Warming up nicely at 75s. So if this remains 1-1, 85th minute, it's a good story, isn't it, for late on? Juve, it's a tricky one because I know how good Cesc Fabregas's Como can be. They can pull off the odd result, but away from home against the top 8, they're failing to score that second goal. That recent 1-1 with AC Milan was endemic of that. Sporting B, we've got a good story. Must take points off Maritimo and have a tilt at first place. So we need to see that momentum that we saw here return a bit further on down the line. It's a tricky one to read, this one, by Leverkusen and Union Berlin. Union Berlin have put in an unexpectedly decent recent home run. It's just, but then you've got Bayer Leverkusen coming into this, suddenly finding their winning footing again. It's difficult. You don't have to play. It's a simple response to that. Augsburg just got a little niggle about the mighty Augsburg today, but their away form suddenly throws a bucket of ice water all over that. Tricky to trust 5 defeats and 6 away. Putting together, you can quite clearly see that win-win, loss-win sequence. Can recent form trump seasonal form? The mighty Hoff, all hail to the mighty Hoff. The draw is probably going to be vulnerable second half. If we can keep that Hoffenheim pattern of scoring 2+ goals when odds on favourite. Keep an eye out on Stockport Wigan unless the in-play stats. If it's valid, well, it's a very, very efficient performance for both Stockport and Wigan. A single shot, single goal. Good stuff. Favourite goal coming in. Jablonek against Carvina. No surprises there. Aberdeen opening up against Dundee FC. I don't know why I'm not getting any sound on this. I do need it. I'm not hearing it. So I don't know what's going on. I haven't cancelled it. So the whole point of having this website is that I hear the dings. I'm hearing them here, but I'm not hearing them here. So let's just... There we go. Hopefully it'll reset itself now. Boom. So Ipswich, I wasn't following their progress going a goal down to Wrexham. Add a touch of odds against today just to see if they're good travellers on their tractors today. Looks as if, well, very little for the in-play stats to offer us. Now I can hear the goals coming in. Peterborough, I can't read Peterborough. I back them and they lose comfortably. I leave them alone and they win comfortably. You just have to give up now and again. I'll just work my way through a few of these, see if there's anything to catch the eye, particularly Secunda B. I might be kicking off a bit later on. No, there it is down there. And Real Betis have had more of a goal threat than Rayo Vallecano today. We will have a look. Odds on favourite Deportivo La Coruña. Huesca. It's all about league position for me. So we can get a good looking at league position. Plenty for Deportivo to think about as well. Now we've got the goals coming in. And, Pescara. You can see that desperate need for points. They are holding Venezia firm at 2-2. Fascinating match. I'm going to play Real Betis odds on at home. Tend not to make a mistake. Just get rid of a few of these. SPL as well. Don't have a strong opinion on the day. Although Hearts, of course, they've got a big story. Must win. Keep the old firm at bay. Dundee United and Kilmarnock, first thing you'll note there, they're both avoiding draws in the last 5 matches. Can't do the lower tiers in Scotland. There's just a lack of liquidity, which is a real problem because it's one of those, or 2 of those leagues that you could really specialise in. League 1, League 2. Championship, it's all about Partick for me today, with St Johnstone dropping points yesterday. Partick are odds on. Can they make up the gap and get themselves a title as well? So just get rid of these peripherals and we'll get to England soon. There's no goals coming in, as you can hear, or you might not be able to hear my computer. Old Rakow. Eerste Divisie, 1.91 away favourite. Well, I'll just keep an eye. And when the score comes in, it'll be on my odds on favourite list anyway, so nothing to worry about there. Serie B. Story Bari really for me is the standout story in the Serie B. So working my way down there. Let's return to this one because it's building up into a good story. Top v bottom at 2-2. Could have some late action with both sides desperate to turn 1 into 3. Ollie tend to deliver week in, week out. Bayern Munich already 2 goals up. Exactly what you expect, leading by 2 or 3 for a 1.09 shot at half time. We're heading towards England now. Premier League, 20 minutes in, and Leeds are doing the usual shutout job. Recent form. I hope you can hear me still. My OBS. And then reconnected. So, yeah, disconnected. Looks like I'm okay. Stuff with the Hoff. You can get out now if you wanted. Or can you see if they'll get that second goal? Looks like I'm okay. Let me know if you're not hearing me. So let's carry on through England. Chelsea and Burnley, I'm not expecting much, but Chelsea have conceded 2 goals in a couple of recent matches. I've got to keep a few matches down here now to work my way through. Just looking for some standout stats from the lower tiers. Not these. These matches are too illiquid. League 2. Accrington Stanley against the Shrews, 13th against 19th. Cambridge United. Well, I'll keep tabs on them. They have been a side worth following this season. Partick Thistle have the opener, and it's 0-2 to Como. This is what I was fearing. I did warn you about this. Now, this is going to be an uphill task for Juve today. I was putting my hopes not on the head-to-head, but on the fact that they struggle to score that second goal against the top 9 away. What a pity. Oh, I should have done the insurance really on 0-2, shouldn't I? Because I was just a little bit of a niggle. Now it's going to be tough for the old lady. See, they're going to be tough to score 2 against. Although Fiorentina managed it with an own goal. A second half goal. That 2-goal concession. But does, or did, tend to appear up here. Oh, keeping sides from scoring 2 as well there as well. Oh, I think we're in a bit of a pickle. We need to rely on the 2+ goal hauls that we're seeing all the way through here. Let's see. Really poor away, aren't they, against the top 6? But at home, you'd have expected the old lady to have been more competitive. But this is a good defensive display. It could be a top-up one at 62 minutes, but you get the feeling it's going to be a real uphill slog for Juve. Where is their usual 2 goals? Is there a special part of the match where they'll score 2? Well, they got 8 in the last 15 minutes. 60% of their goals have come second half. Concession rate, though, and concession rate away, very tidy from Como. I'm just hoping we can get a 1-2 early enough. 75th minute for there still to be some life in the market. So I really should have covered that 0-2. I did point it out, but I didn't cover it. Cover it with both teams to score no and the 1-2. Venezia story, it's a bit too early. Similar story, Bari. The momentum has dropped now. You really wanted to strike while the iron was hot at the top of their momentum. And Sporting just gone off the boil a little and let Maritimo into this one. The best scenario for Sporting would be to take points off Maritimo. We'll see whether that can be a late lay of that draw. More goals popping in, and Mantova and Samp making it 1-1. Wolfsburg, it's a tricky one, as I say. I had just have a soft spot for Augsburg based on their recent form. The mighty Hoff, should I cash out now, given I'm sitting on a Como loss currently, and that would take away some of the loss. Virtus and Telen Catanzaro all getting those draws ending in Serie B, but not the Bari one yet, or the Venezia one yet, which I'm keeping an eye on. Looks like we're going to give in a good account, aren't they? Still leading 1-2 against Stockport, who very strong odds on pre-match, already scored a goal, but have been kept very quiet. It's a Tromatos. Cambridge being kept quiet today, blowing a little hot and cold. Only the single goal against Colchester when very strong odds on favourite last week. And then suddenly scoring 3 against Bristol Rovers when not that lukewarm. And a similar story with Crawley. They do have that goal threat when they need it, but it does tend to show up in the in-play stats. Aston Villa and Leeds, this is typical of Leeds' recent form. Villains not going through any recent, the Villains not scoring consistently enough and going through a bit of a win-draw-loss sequence. Hearts still no shots on target yet. Again, look at the crucial need for points. Rangers and Celtic breathing down their necks. Now that Rangers-Hearts match last week, absolutely vital. Wrexham and Ipswich, no surprise or no angle for me there at the moment. Just look through our odds on favourites. And you can see that Aston Villa kept quiet by Leeds. Are we going to see an East there? And an opening goal for the out-of-form Brighton. That could be a match worth following. Only one win in 13. But the Bees at 2.3 the favourite, not exactly the strongest favourites. And 2.3 the favourite does give both teams a chance. But if you're looking at seasonal form, Brighton's only one win in 13 is awful, awful stuff. I think we do have Champions League coming up, don't we? Which is going to be the cause for those upsets. And thank you to whoever messaged me. I think it was Guy. Appreciate that. So yes, now you know why it's an even stickier encounter for Juventus today. And I think the 2-0 probably in a similar vein last time. So these are your teams to be careful about. Newcastle away at Man City. Inter Milan are away as well today. Bayer Leverkusen, now you know why they're a goal down. Ollie, odds on today. Club Brugge, set to be full of goals today. And Atletico Madrid, not having the best of time. Now you know why the old lady are limping, and I should have been a little more cautious, but these matches come off so quickly. They're at home to Galatasaray. Real Madrid Benfica, Paris Saint-Germain, Monaco, Atalanta and Dortmund. So thank you very much for that reminder, and that gives you, or should have given me, a clearer eye into this match, because certainly they are to be got. It's going to be got by a defensively stubborn unit pre-Champions League. We're not necessarily going to be resting some stars Juventus, I would suspect. Leeds have the opener against Villa. Now that could be an angle in. Let's go to the website. No, let's just go to Soccer Stats. This is what Leeds are looking for, isn't it? But they could have done with a 70th or 80th minute 0-1 to hold on to. It's been a very quiet first half. Problem with Aston Villa is they've just gone off the boil in 2024, 2026 even. So just... And are Aston Villa involved in European club competition as well? I suspect they might be. You can win, draw, loss, win, loss, draw, win. Scoring that second goal only once in the last 6 matches. Scoring that second goal only once. A couple of 0-1 defeats. We can cover. So if they fancy that pattern continuing, we can certainly cover that, laying over 1.5 goals. Leeds did score 2 goals against Chelsea, but one of them was a penalty. 1-1 against Everton, 3 against Newcastle. So they've got a bit of a goal habit against the right team. It's this is an Unai Emery Villa, though. You can see they don't let side score that second goal recently, but they don't concede. They don't score that second goal themselves. So it does scream out for a potential play of some sort. Just umming and ahhing about whether to lock this one in, given the loss on Juventus. So Aston, can we trust them not to concede a second? Oh, it's got a dead leg. There's a Betis opener, which is a pity. I fancied them today against Rayo Vallecano. So Aston Villa stats, not much. But where's that second goal going to come from for Leeds? They do have 2 goals in the locker against the right type of side. No shots on target, 2 off, and a corner for the Villains, who are gettable in 2026. So I'll have a look. Maybe just take the insurance out now, because if they do lose, they lose 0-1. And if we can keep it at 0-1, we could have a late punt on the Villains, couldn't we? So are we going to get a long period of 0-1? Because that would be a good angle in. Olympiacos, pre-Europe, but not concerned today. Let's have a look at our odds-ons. So Heredek Kralove and Zlin, 1.8 favourite. Again, this is a good way to harvest late possible plays, what you could do here. Look at the in-play stats. And I think I've already got rid of the check matches. Look at the in-play stats, and if the momentum starts rising, if in-play stats start rising, you could get yourself a value lay, knowing at home. Doing the business. There's that odds-on favourite at home. Lukewarm, 1.83. Chelsea doing the job. Middlesbrough yet to score after 37 minutes. So we're going to keep an eye on their in-play stats, because they are priced to be A bit of a goal machine today. Let's go to the Championship. I'll just get rid of a few of these because I'm going to open up the Championship here. So let's bring up some of the Championship matches with the odds-on favourites as well. It's been, looks like it's a nervy afternoon. And we've got the underperforming Southampton at odds-on, not delivering. And we've got underperforming Middlesbrough being kept quiet by Oxford, aren't they? This is an Oxford who don't tend to score, but can throw in the odd 0-0, particularly against big boy Coventry, just got the recent win. And at 0-1 against Sunderland as well. So they can keep sides honest. Oxford, this is probably going to ignite in the second half if you trust Middlesbrough and if they can break into the shots on target category. There's a Venezia Desmond ending. Did you have a look at that one? Was it a little bit too early for you? Very good story, wasn't it? Venezia Pescara, very good story for laying the draw on both accounts. League lead of the league. Bit too early for me, that one. I'm always asking for a little bit too much, I think. Sides to have the courtesy to score a 98th minute winner. That would be very nice indeed. Get rid of that. Still quiet with Bari, but this is what we want. We want time pressure late on. Chris, I've gone on now laying 0-2 Como, small liability for me. Let's see. Hope Juventus can get back. Indeed, had I known more about the Champions League element, this is a tough fixture. Juve will have changed the team dynamic as well. So a bit of a pity that I didn't sniff that one out properly. But we have to hope that Como do their usual struggles against the top sides, but looks like they have kept the old lady very, very quiet indeed. Typical. One of these Champions League sides is going to cock it up, or even two. Bayer Leverkusen, now knowing what we know, can't really be trusted pre-Champions League. Augsburg, they start moving up the momentum on them, based mostly on that recent form, 3 wins in 4. The mighty Hoff, I might have to consider cashing out. I'll keep an eye on this, and I hope they can get that next goal for me so I can cash out with a profit, which will be the equivalent or thereabouts of the loss I'll make on the Juventus play. The problem with a 0-2, the only way to cover that, correct score play or plus, or both teams to score, no. Aberdeen Red leading Dundee FC. Do we have the Scottish League here somewhere? Scottish Championship. Plenty of goals coming in. Stockport and Wigan. Well, Wigan doing a fine job, but the market got this one a bit more accurate, hasn't it? 1.73 coming from behind on 2 occasions now to make it 2-2. I was willing this for a half-time team talk and a potential coming out for the top 5 side to threaten that 1-2. But they already got the goal before half-time. Let's have a look at our odds-ons. As you can see, plenty of them flying in. 80th minute now, Hradec Kralove. Aston Villa and Leeds coming to half-time. Chelsea as well. Just being kept quiet. Still nothing for the odds-on Borough. And Millwall as well against Pompey. Plenty to look at half-time. See whether we can get these ending. Stockport make it 2-2, as you can see, 1.62 favourite. The Huddersfield not delivering, but a local derby. Bolton Blackpool as well, local derby. Cheltenham, well, Salford leading. Odds-on favourite Bromley not doing anything. So plenty of these 0-0s can be investigated at half-time. See whether they are vulnerable second half. Palermo and Bari, well, this is saying half-time, so I thought they were joining at 78th minute, so one of these two has got it wrong. And there's a leader in the Huddersfield-Barnsley Yorkshire derby. So that's a look as we're heading to half-time at the moment. Goals are flowing. I think we can get rid of the Ollie at the moment. Don't need them. Saints knocking on the door, aren't they? Can you trust them? They're on a run of 4 consecutive wins, are they not? And that's what that says. And that good performance against Leicester City. We actually played that 3-0 in some way. 2 goals scored against Stoke away from home. At home, though, with that single goal. I wonder if it's just home problems. Charlton scored 2 goals against Leicester, but that's the only time they scored 2 goals in the last 5 matches. Is that draw vulnerable? Well, 4 consecutive wins. The draw was in the FA Cup. So we might be hopeful, particularly if they can continue this pattern second half. At these odds, they really should deliver. But the last time they were like this, they were odds-on favourite and they lost. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Just another look through the watch list. Getting to the 80th minute now, and we're not seeing any move yet from either Padova or Bari to go for the jugular. Particularly for Bari, a win could be season-defining for them at the bottom. I think we can get rid of Venezia and Pescara. Really honest performance from bottom side Pescara, but this is going as you'd expect. Disappointing for me, really, not to have accounted for the Champions League today. And I did warn you that they did this last time to Juventus, the 2-0 lead. Disappointing. Sporting B, well, Maritimo have the lead, and that could be season-defining. Because look at the gap now. It's broadened to nearly, or to 9 points from what could have been a 3-point gap had Sporting B got the winner. So I think it's a job done now in this one. That 0-0 or that draw was going to be vulnerable at some point. I don't think I want to be tempted in with Bayer Leverkusen today, given the fact they are playing in Europe. I'm still going to keep an eye on Augsburg. You can see their secondary stats. 6 shots off, 7 corners and a 43. This, for me, you would be filing under speculative, given their away form is just so awful. No shots on target. Well, no shots off target. Second half, just the 1 corner. So they haven't really got going. But this is a good first half stats. I like this second half, or this secondary stats pattern here. But it's not got going second half yet. I've just got a little feeling that we might be able to get the recent winning form rather than the seasonal away form. But still losing away from home. They did get that win against Bayern Munich, but then they couldn't follow it up against Mainz, who you would have expected them to have followed it up against, having taken that booster from Bayern. I'll be keeping an eye on this. If I can see a bit of brown moving upwards, might take on the Wolf. And there's an opener for the Hearts just before half-time. Could be crucial in the SPL title, that one. Certainly the 0-0 at half-time I would have welcomed with a look at taking it on second half, particularly with neither side having a draw in the last 4 and a draw not doing Hearts any favours whatsoever, with the old firm breathing down their necks. Moving on down, the second half has begun with 10 minutes in, and it's as you were. It's a very static, shots on, shots off and corners. The Hoff do what the Hoff do at odds on. Now I might be able to show you betexplorer.com. This is a website you can go to when you want to look at how teams perform at specific odds. So we've got to find the Hoff here today. Click on them. You can get rid of all this, come on. And then we can look at their historical odds. This is a really good info. You can see 1.83 scoring 3, 1.73 scoring 3. They were 2.05 today. 2.24 scoring 3, 1.94 scoring 2. So basically, they're even more confident a play at odds on, but they're still worth an interest at odds against. But it's very rare you're going to be getting odds against now. Well, there, that ended in 0-0. 2.4335, they still get the win. So you can see why there's a hope that they can push on and get something here. Well, 0-2 to Brighton. Brentford are a second half scoring side from memory. One win in 13. But this is 2.3. 2.3 the favourite. And should have followed my instinct, shouldn't I? I'm disgusted. I didn't follow that up, man. Should have followed my instinct because that would have been a nice play, Augsburg. I don't fancy, well, if you wanted to take on a side with only one win in 13, then 0-2 is the time to take them on. Stuff. They've been keeping a tight ship, though. If you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last 7 matches, they haven't conceded that second goal. So at 0-2 up, they've automatically, you'd think, failed to score against Forest, scored only a single against the Arse, failed to score against Spuds, single against Leeds. Hit and miss, isn't it? It's a bit hit and miss. 3 against Burnley, but none against Forest. 4-3-3 against, well, really solid against 5th to 11th. 4th to 11th, 2+ goals scored. But then we're getting this whole raft of failing to score and only scoring a single. So it's a difficult side to read. But if you are going to be taking on a Brighton lead, it's going to be taken on now at these odds, given the fact we've got the whole second half to come. Half-time, because they'd out. Recovery, 2.3 the favourite. That's the red flag. So you could be very, very careful. The Hoff. Now that's helped me out massively, because that's got me my money back on Juventus. So thank you very much to the mighty Hoff there. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I should have gone match odds. I keep missing this week in and week out. They keep delivering week in and week out. Bosun will tell you we've been through the mill with the Hoff. That's why very, very cautious. So that's more like it. That's near my full liability for the Juventus match, back where it belongs. So I'll take that. Great performance from the Hoff today. And Wrexham and Ipswich, the reason I was following Ipswich, just to see what kind of a mood they're in, and they are in a going mood. So that 2-2 might be vulnerable at some point. Padova Bari, we're getting into the last knockings. And this is last chance saloon for Bari. So it's going to have to be a 109, 106 for me, given the dodginess of their league position. But just be ready. We might see a red card pop in as well. That would be interesting. 3 points are waiting to be snapped up. So we're just going to wait for some movement. I'll have to get rid of that now. The pre-Champions League. You can't make these errors, can you? If it's pre-Champions League, you've got to be very, very cautious and cover everything. Augsburg, disappointed. I just had that feeling for them today that their recent momentum would bring them into this match, and they've got that equaliser, which is 53-19 is the standout stat there. The mighty Hoff, all hail to the mighty Hoff. Stockport and Wigan, that Desmond could be vulnerable, with Wigan still showing enough of an appetite for 3 points today. Middlesbrough, are we going to see a second half breakthrough, or are they going to revert to the side who had trouble even scoring? This is not the performance of a 1.38 shot. 2 shots on 6 off and 3 corners. Fair dues to Oxford United. They are keeping it quiet, but failing to score. They've had a 0-0 and a 0-1 recently, so that is due deference to their defensive capability. I've got involved with Villa and 0-1 is covered. Half-time team talk for Unai Emery. Hopefully unlock an Aston Villa equaliser, or at very least 0-1 defeat. And that's the mighty Hoff in a nutshell. Cash out at the 1-2. Cock it up as soon as you've cashed out. Fabulous stuff. The mighty Hoff, there for you, ladies and gentlemen, in all their glory. I'll get rid of Hearts. I was waiting for that 0-0 at half-time. Don't have a strong opinion, Dundee and Kilmarnock. Southampton, don't have a strong opinion. A touch of untrustworthiness about them. Single goals against Watford and Leicester, and then 2+ goal hauls, an average of 3 in the last 2 aways. Just an unreadability about them. Charlton have dug out a 1-0 against Stoke and a 0-0 against QPR, but were done by Pompey latest. Those were 0-0s at half-time. One of them did end in 0-0, so keep an eye on that one. Millwall, second half goals with 2 consecutive 0-0s at half-time for Millwall away from home. I've seen them score 2 goals second half, so that could be one for you to lay that draw against Pompey. Of course, it's one of those Venezia Pescara matches, top against bottom, and the away side parking for Portsmouth, parking the ship. Wrexham and Ipswich, that Desmond, possibly second half, very, very efficient, both shots, 2 goals, 3 shots, 2 goals. Partick, I think I'll get rid of, given they've got the lead. Not too keen on taking on a Brighton lead, but if you are going to take on a side with only 1 win in 13, it's going to be with a whole second half to go away from home at these kind of odds. Okay, Real Betis done as I expected. Just going to have a small break, get myself a drink. Be back in a sec. Okay, let's just wet the whistle. Get myself a biscuit as well. So just looking at our odds-ons now, and then you can check out any 0-0s at half-time. Or you could look at these late plays. Wouldn't put you off laying these ones at 109, 106. Petty on favourite. So let's just have a bit of a bite of this. Half-time biscuit. So moving down, we know all about Millwall. Shouldn't be seeing a 0-0 at full time, should we? Middlesbrough and Saints, Saints just lacking that consistency. Middlesbrough chock full of goals. Are we going to see him second half? That Desmond possibly ending. Bolton and Blackpool, got a feeling of a local derby about it. Huddersfield and Barnsley, again, local derby. But the odds-on favourite, Huddersfield, find themselves a goal down. So I'll have a look at that one. Huddersfield and Barnsley. That should be in League One. Sorry, I was looking at the Championship. That's why I don't follow these teams. There it is, Huddersfield and Barnsley. But it's a tricky one because it's a local derby. But you can see that 7 shots off, 7 corners is a decent foundation. So we're just looking to see Bolton and Blackpool in League One as well. Bolton and Blackpool. Keeps moving. Where are they? It's another 0-0. And that suggests, doesn't it, that with 11 corners, which is a stat I like, the pressure is going to be telling on Blackpool's second half. Secondary stats and 50 dangerous attacks. A win will make them one of only 3 sides on 60 plus points this season. Blackpool are a little too near the relegation zone, particularly with Leyton Orient over the 30-point marker. So, but Bolton, I like that secondary score, second half, I think. Rayo Vallecano equaliser against Betis. We might see something second half, because that's a bit of a surprise. Newport against Cambridge. Well, Cambridge haven't really shown up. I should have this one up here. Yeah, they haven't really shown up, have they? 1 shot on 3 off 3 corners. This is a weird Cambridge side. I enthused about them last week and they labour to a 1-1. Leave them be the week before and they score 3+ goals. The in-play stats today suggest another tough encounter. No coincidence, Newport are fighting for their lives. And, well, this is the beauty of trading, isn't it? Had I gone with my instinct and looked for an Augsburg equaliser, I would have got the Augsburg equaliser. But I wouldn't have called the final result correct. So fascinating. I'm not sure if I'm going to play now because we know 5 defeats and 6 away matches is a concern. I'm afraid while it's half time, you can have your Frey Bentos or pucker pies as well. Right, so we're just preparing ourselves for this second half. You can see best in the world, and you can see Brighton's recent form of not conceding that second goal. So not a play for me. So we'll get rid of Bayern. You can have a look. You can use Football 24 if you want to look for trading angles as well. They have the times. So Desmond, 85th, 90th minute. Pre-Champions League, maybe not today. Maybe not now. 5 defeats and 6 away. Just work your way through. Already involved. The possible +1 here. Hoping that this lot continue to lose 0-1 if they do lose. Only 1 win in 13. So you can say to yourself, that's a good angle in playing Brighton now with a whole half to go away from home against London opponents. No angle. Can they ignite second half? Score a second half goal? Similar story Millwall. So those draws layable. No strong angle there. But Norwich have been in really good form of late. Old Delia Smith getting a good tune out of them. Southampton, are they trustworthy enough to end that 0-0 second half? Looks as if Ipswich are up for the battle today, doesn't it? is that draw vulnerable second half? Local derby of sorts, so I wouldn't be too keen. Similar story here. Is there anything else which really captures your eye? That's got plenty of a story from the first half about it. A comeback from Stockport. Possible Desmond as well on 20. And Lens have the opener against Monaco in a defining possible three-pointer to go top with Paris Saint-Germain. And there's a goal for Pompey against Millwall. That could be an angle in. Let me break and have a look at that one. 1.85 home favourite. Pompey are 20th. Those biscuits are nice. Wow. So let's just have a look at the recent. I want to see a Pompey or a Millwall who have been able to fight. So let me just check that out. It looks like it's going to be a play, but it's one of those that, given where getting that win against Charlton, win against West Brom as well, picking up 3 points here and there, and only 1-0 defeats. So now they're leading 1-0. They're not conceding that second goal, are they? Ever since the 5-goal drubbing. And it looks like a deliberate reaction. 1-1 might be the best case scenario for our old pals Millwall today, getting that win against Sheffield United Wednesday, which we played. Good one against Wrexham, but 1-1 against Sheffield United. That's good stuff against Charlton. 2 against the Swans. Not really going to town with 3 goals, are they? So it's a good recent defensive display from Pompey, which is a concern. So you'd have to cover that 0-1 if you're going to be playing them today. Unbeaten in 5 at home. The Lions, 3rd in the league, and have an excellent win record at home against 9th and lower. Excellent. Note the clean sheets as well in all bar 1 home match against 15th and lower. Are they going to concede a second goal today? To this excellent home form. Pompey, well, stark contrast, have failed to beat any top 16 side away from home. So I've got a feeling here that we might be able to take on seasonal form this Pompey side. But you can see what a difference a win will make. Take them to 39 points, bring Charlton and Norwich into the equation. Millwall, though, desperate to get to 59 with a win today. Put some distance between themselves and an Ipswich side currently drawing and will be within touching distance of plus points. I might just go in blind here and look for the possibility of Millwall doing something. But again, paying the price should I get it wrong. So it's still relatively low, laying over 1.5 goals. Match odds, if I can get 2.3, that would be nice. 2.36, there we go. So you can see I've not gone match odds for any of these at the moment, apart from Sociedad, which I topped up on. So the net profit here is 52 minus 15. But I'm going to be ready to bail here if Pompey park that galley ship in front of goal. Salford red card against Cheltenham. They conceded 3 goals at odds on favourite last week. This is English League 2. So I'll bring that match up. We might want to keep an eye on Salford, although I don't like playing teams I've lost money on again in lower tiers. But can Cheltenham in 18th place fight to get something? Look at the second half beginning, straight out of the blocks for Middlesbrough. 93. Can they end that draw. Just bring the Millwall +1. I'll be cash out if it remains 0-1 for too long here, because if this isn't the performance you expect seasonally for either of these two. Middlesbrough draw is 3.2 currently. Can we get a little bit more out of it? And we got a goal from the Saints. So those of you draws, they have been coming down very nicely. And another one ending, that Desmond ending, a little bit too early for me. But 3 good calls. I didn't follow up with my own money though, alas. So Southampton in-play stats. We need Middlesbrough now. And Middlesbrough probably going to be the one I'm going to go for, and it's going to end 0-0, of course. And Cheltenham equalised against Salford City, the 10-man Salford. Bit too quick for me. I was waiting to see how they would react, but a very good, quick reaction. So you can see it's warming up nicely. Let's have a look at some of the other matches. I'll get rid of this one. Middlesbrough, can we get that goal? Now with those draws ending consistently. Aston Villa, like the momentum, right at the beginning of the second half. Unai Emery wants a quick equaliser. Southampton, well, I'll get rid of that now. Bolton and Blackpool, local derby. I know Wrexham Ipswich is 2-3. You don't have to keep telling me. Thank you. 3 shots on, 10 off and 12 corners. Is that secondary stats going to interest you in this local derby? If I'm right, local derby-ish. 60 points is a massive, massive carrot for Bolton, though, isn't it? Massive. Is that going to be enough to end that draw second half? Can't really read Millwall's in-play stats, but I would have expected them to have targeted this for 3 points today. But it is one of those. They might take the home. Let me bring the match up because I'd be quite interested in it. Scoring second half goals in 2 consecutive away matches, can they do it at home? Oh, I've already got involved, haven't I? So there we go, that's told that. Cheltenham and Salford, well, the draw should be vulnerable at some point as well there. Too much of a local derby. I think I'll give that one a miss. And, well, the best value here is if this is still 0-2, 70th minute, Lay, Brighton. Brentford have had a lot of goals post 70th minute this season. Am I hallucinating it or am I right? Let's have a look. I thought they had a good second half scoring record. So we'll find out down the bottom here. Well, look at that. 60% of goals scored overall have come second half. 14 in the last 15 minutes. That's what I was saying, 70th minute. If it remains 0-2, look at that, 12 goals scored from the half hour onwards. So they're not going to be fearing anything. Just keep an eye on the clock at 0-2 to create even better value. Are you going to be trusting Middlesbrough to convert their momentum into the goal that they need? I'm quite happy to wait on it. Sod's law for me. The only one of the 0-0s I get involved in, and have called correctly, ends 0-0. We've got a suspended market. And there we go, 0-2 to Pompey. So Oh, this is that part of the season, isn't it? Now it's early enough. I'm going to top up again and hope for a 1-2. But it looks as if it's a forlorn hope. We're going to get caught out like this. Bottom of the league sides getting the unexpected wins. But if I can get a 2-1, still, we're not yet at the hour mark. If I can get a 2-1, I've got a chance to wriggle out of this, like the Sociedad match. So it's 55 minutes. Let's see whether Millwall can get second half goals in the bag. Let's just have a look at that Pompey second goal. Well, from open play, fair enough. Nothing I can do about that. So a well-timed 1-2, like we had with Sociedad, can get you out with a break even. The Middlesbrough have hit 103. Notts County make it 3-0. You can see Middlesbrough hitting the 103. .88 to lay the draw. It's getting shorter and shorter as we're getting to the half-hour mark. We could have a quick look. Is there a scoring time? And Oxford is. They do have a 0-0 or a 1-0 in them. They're frustrated with a recent 0-0. So let's have a look. So a decent recent run, as you can see, but then that was that humdinger top of the table loss. So they should revert to type. But just a 1-0 win against Norwich last match. And Oxford, you see that 0-0 against Coventry. So they could keep it quiet against another top two side away from home. But as far as scoring is concerned, they shouldn't trouble the judge today, Oxford United. So those 0-0 there, 0-0 there, 0-0 there. Too many 0-0s recently. So despite all, I would have preferred to have covered that 0-0 initially, maybe at half time. Peterborough and Exeter. Well, Peterborough opened the scoring. And Huddersfield equaliser, going as per the market. But it's a local derby. I wasn't really interested in playing that one. So let's have a quick look through our odds-ons. We've got the Bundesliga beginning. Anything else? Nothing much at the moment. Still, it remains 0-1. Aston Villa and Leeds have got the 0-1 covered. Brentford and Brighton, 70th minute would be a very good entry point here, given the Brentford scoring in the 60th minute onwards. Middlesbrough, can they break that 3 recent 0-0s for Oxford United? That's what's keeping me from playing. I would have liked to have covered that 0-0. Can we get a goal from Millwall, preferably before the 70th minute, to get that 1-2 and the odds moving? Elsewhere, Bolton are dominating this match, third in the league, but it's a local derby. Do you trust that draw to end? Similar story with Stockport and Wigan. Plenty going on in the first half there. It's one of their quieter matches today. And the red card for Wigan could show, and yet another Augsburg equaliser. Oh, I'm gutted. Could have done with a bit of that. So we've got the red card now for Wigan against Stockport. So surely Stockport don't need an invitation. Had to battle twice to get back on parity. Wait for this to sort itself out, see what kind of odds the draw is. We might get some good value laying the draw. They've already scored 2 goals, so that's a good sign. Just got to wait for this to tidy itself up a little bit. Very, very lukewarm Cambridge, but it's a story, isn't it? 23rd, 24th, keeping clean sheets. It's just one of those days. 17th, keeping clean sheets. 20th, scoring 2 goals, keeping a clean sheet. And again, look, Millwall not getting any momentum move at all. No move upwards at all. Let's have a look through some of the other matches. Make sure I'm not missing anything. And then I'll just bring it up to the watch list. La Liga, Betis. Well, yes, that draw could be vulnerable. Note, they're both avoiding the draw. SPL, no, nothing really appealing. Primera Liga, nothing really appealing there. Serie B, no. Bundesliga, well, the 2-2-2s. I'm already out the half. Played my gut instinct on Augsburg. That would have been a nice reward there. 11 shots off target for Leverkusen. Do you trust them pre-Champions League? 2.35 the favourite again. It's the typical Champions League odds for that side. Lens, top of the league currently. They maintain that win. Pre-Europe, Monaco, so a good time to get Monaco. League 2, anything standing out? Not really. Harrogate and Bromley. Well, that's 20 shots for Harrogate, 23rd against top of the table Bromley. You'd have thought the in-play stats are the wrong way round there. Is that going to end? That draw going to end? Northampton against Leyton Orient, 2.7 the favourite. Got a bit of momentum for Colchester and Northampton. So not much else to catch the eye at the moment there. Championship, got that goal for the Saints. And Ipswich well up for that. Norwich have been in excellent form. Favourite on the hour mark, just with a rise in momentum, might offer some value if you can catch them, like Augsburg, with a recent winning form. Could have very short odds here. Yeah, well worth a punt. There's half an hour to go, and they're rising in momentum. At 1-2, changes the whole complexion of this match. So that'll do me fine. Very low liability. Look, we're not even at the hour mark yet. Well enough timed. At 68th minute, we'd get that up and running. Well, Peterborough deciding to... Got a suspended market. Any of our match. And we have a goal back for Millwall. Beautiful. Because it will show me an out. Now, with Sociedad, I went out and went back in again. And I lost the opportunity to have back to side at 34s. So it's a tricky one, isn't it? But that's just for an extra tenner. And if the goal sticks, which I hope it will, Augsburg winning, you absolute... I could strangle them today. That's 4 wins in 5 for Augsburg, and a missed opportunity for me today to just stick to my instinct. I just had a nice feeling about them that recent form would trump their poor away form. We're just waiting for the Millwall match to unpack itself. I need to start moving. Particularly, well, I want to see what the profit will be here and the loss will be here, because it should negate itself. And then the only loss you're going to be making will be on your... So this is a second example of topping up today. Saw it in the Sociedad match earlier. We're having a bit of luck though. We're getting that goal where we just need it scored at the right time. It's there, look, Millwall. But why is the market still yet to open? It's well timed to say I would like it before the 70th minute, and it's in the bag. There's the deserved Bolton goal. If you play, fair enough. It's a local derby for me, so if it ends 0-0 and I lose, I'll know why. Sir Desmond of Tutu is stocking up. And that's just ended, that Desmond there. Curl and a half, I'm already played. If you want to lay at 1.05, that draw, you know, the half 3, don't they? Stockport and Wigan, a little bit early. We need to see a strong reaction now. We need to see all blue from Stockport from here on in. They have been very efficient, only 4 shots on target and 2 goals. Newport and Cambridge, well, Cambridge is starting to wake up now. The brown is starting to rise above the blue. But they've been a little lukewarm. It's not resounding in-play stats, is it? Only 1 shot on target this second half, heading to the hour mark. Problem. 3 Oxford United. And a recent 0-0 against Coventry City, no less, away from home. Obviously adept at this. So I should have really laid over 0.5 goals at the start of half time, then sat back. Then I can lay the draw as it gets lower and lower and lower. Well, talk about putting a side to sleep. Leeds United have kept Aston Villa incredibly quiet. Recent rise in momentum. And did I get out? He wouldn't let me out. So I think 1-2. You wouldn't let me out at 1-2. Oh, come on, eh? Oh, that's not fair, is it? I can't do anything about this either. I can't say to Betfair, you didn't unsuspend at the... There. That was the angle in. Surely it would have unsuspended. Ah, disappointed. That was my angle out. The 1-2. Did any of you manage to get out? Will there be a winner? Curl and a half. We normally expect 3 goals from the half. But, if you get involved 1.25 and lower, it's not going to do you any harm. We've already got that Augsburg Desmond in, and it ends 2-2, and no real rise in momentum at the end of those matches, but a good. I am very disappointed about this Millwall. I don't know what happened for them not to unsuspend at 1-2. I know it's a very quick goal, but the market would have unsuspended after the check. It was a perfectly timed goal as well. Perfectly timed from Millwall before the 70th minute mark. Now they're going to cost me money. Betfair. So we've missed the Hoffenheim Desmond. The Augsburg Desmond is in. The Stockport surely can take advantage now. Top 5 berth. And it's 3-3, Wrexham and Ipswich. It's been a humdinger. Have you been solidly with Ipswich throughout. They might push on and get the winner now. Middlesbrough playing against that 3 recent 0-0 Oxford, so I'm a little reluctant to play without cover. I'm going to have to think about possibly with the Villains not really. They don't concede that second goal of late, but they don't score that second goal of late as well. They do today. Lovely jubbly. Thank you, Dick Emery. I will take that. Just a little bit concerned. Oh, did I go match odds? I think I've surely played this one today. Ah, I thought I played. Oh, I just played the. Looks like a false alarm. So I've been waiting. Great. So I'm going to get even better odds against the Villains, having just had a goal disallowed. So, that's up to 2.4 now for the +1. So, yeah, off we go. So if they can replicate that recent goal in the back of the net at 2.36. That's an even bigger return. So that's something for you to think. Laying over 1.5 goals in matches where teams have had recent 0-1 defeats and forgetting about it, basically. What you can do, you can get a break even here. You can get a 10 quid here and then just use that 10 quid however you'd like. Have a free punt. 10 quid to back the Villains. 5 quid to back the Villains. 5 to... You could have all sorts of fun. 10 quid to back the draw. It'll be a free punt. Norwich have a goal back against Brum. It was one of those surely I got involved in because I did mention it. Yes, indeed. So you can see the risk reward is pretty good, isn't it? So it's all about, well, it looked good, looked at about double. It's all, if you move your decimal point to the right, that's 57 quid liability, 72 profit for a single goal. So it's all relative. Don't knock the size when you're not putting out the big numbers. If you're willing to take the fall, then be willing to take the big profits. Imagine that, 100 quid. That'd be very nice. I think this remains 1-2. That's your first opportunity. But we're up and running. Look at the amount of time left as well. 23 minutes left for Norwich. If we can get the draw, that would be very nice indeed. You take the tenner if you want, if you're going to be making a loss on Millwall, which is no thanks to Betfair. So that tenner would be, well, heading towards a third of liability with 13 quid. So do remember that if you've taken a hit earlier on. But way up the match. Stockport and Wigan. Stockport starting to rise in the momentum. So keep an eye on this match. 73rd minute. Third, fifth in the league. Could really do with 3 points. Cambridge is starting to hit the 90 plus on the momentum. Are we going to see them end the draw? Let's go to the Norwich match here. Pre-match 2.63 the favourite. That's had me certainly interested. Recent winning form had me interested. Now, do I get out now? Because that takes a big proportion, or a third nearly, liability on Millwall, which was none of my fault, to be honest. That takes a bit of that back. So we're going to have to think about that because it's 2.63 the favourite. Aston Villa, can I get that equaliser just as they've had a ball in the back of the net? That would be very nice indeed. Chelsea red card against Burnley. Burnley are a forlorn hope. Even a side as good as Chelsea can hold on, I think, with 10 men. But it's a precarious scoreline, particularly when you're a man down. Just get rid of a few of these. Aberdeen 2, Dundee 2. Red card involved in that match. I could do that 2-3 Millwall coming soon, but that 1-2 was where we should have been getting out. Cambridge are hitting 100 momentum. Do you trust them today with 20 minutes to go? They've been a pretty hot form. Cambridge United, you're going to follow the momentum. Can they get the job done? 100 plus, but only 2 shots on target for Cambridge. Let's tidy up a few of these. SPL, well, you've got a Desmond Tutu. Hearts are still leading by that single goal. Cluj odds on at home, and under 20s in Ireland. I don't think we'd bother with that. Just tidy up the rest of this, and then we can get back to our watch list. Any Serie B? No. The goals are flowing. Lens still remains 1-0. Chelsea 1-0, but stick that on the watch list because Burnley have had 2 goals in them of late. And Salford decide to turn up this week, which is very nice of them. And winning with 10 men, just to rub it in. That loss last week. So I think we're up to date. Nothing much else to catch the eye. Oh, the Wrexham and Ipswich, of course. Desmond 2-2s and Desmond 3-3s everywhere. No surprises in the lower tiers. Port Vale, no, nothing doing in the lower tiers. So let's have a quick look through the odds-on list. So any potential angles in? Derby, if ever there was one, isn't it? So if you followed that 100 on the momentum, it's turned up. 100 plus on the momentum, turned up. Have you played that? Well done. Don't wait for me to take action as well. I've got a lot happening here. But it's a clear indicator when it starts going to 100 plus. Decent enough record of second half scoring as well. And off we go, having an electric end to the season. Cambridge United. Still no shots on target really since the red card for Stockport, but quite happy to wait. And as I was going to do for the Wrexham Ipswich match until the death. Wow, 4-3. What an absolute humdinger this one is. Now, we'll be looking at the possibility of a late Ipswich equaliser here. They keep coming from behind. 78th minute, you can see this Oxford recent set of 0-0s was not a coincidence or a flash in the pan. Can Middlesbrough get that momentum back up? And if so, can they put in a late assault for a 3 points which could bring them ever closer or ever further away from a Millwall side losing today? So massive. Leeds are still keeping the Villains quiet. I was hoping that the Villains would follow up on that goal or that disallowed goal and get themselves an equaliser, but we can see a slight concern with Leeds' momentum rising just there. I hope 0-1 it will remain. They haven't been conceding that second goal of late. Aston Villa, apart from the FA Cup and the Europa League, but in the Premier League, be keeping sides to a single goal. So I hope that pattern remains. The red card for Wigan has still not produced that shot on target, has it, for Stockport? Making all the right noises. When are you going to lay that draw? If. Local derby, exactly why I don't play them. Very, very 1-2 and an open market. We could have salvaged ourselves a break even after that match. Don't know what happened. It's such a quick equaliser. That can't have been the reason. Possibility to lay Wrexham probably 1.12 and lower, given they've conceded 3 goals already, and they've Ipswich have come from behind 1, 2 occasions already. So could be more to come. And Cambridge are going to town now. If you laid the draw, that's an emphatic performance there. You can see when the momentum hits 100, start getting interested. And look at Norwich. Can they pull it off? Am I going to rue not taking that 11, 12 quid, just adding it to the pot because of the Millwall fiasco? Or am I looking out for the potential of a 2-2? Should have really got out at the 1-2 as that was the odds move. But if they 2.63 the favourite with winning form as well, scoring 2+ goals in each of the last few matches as well. We're seeing a slight rise from Burnley now on the 80th minute. I wouldn't be taking on Chelsea myself. Burnley is run. And Peterborough decide to turn up today with a 3-3 against Exeter. And that was an emphatic earlier performance from Exeter, but they've been caught. Just looking at a few of these that are coming into the last knockings. Not much to interest. There's certainly going to be a few late plays, you'd think, if you fancied them. Big stories with 3 points throughout the lower tiers. Yeah. Oh, that's gone to the side already. A goal down. So let's have a look at the live standings. So who will benefit? Well, possibility to go with Coventry with 3 points today, but an Oxford United very tough to score against of late. That's one of the big stories. Middlesbrough, of course, we're just very unlucky with that one. Did the insurance correctly, did the top-up correctly, but the market didn't unsuspend in time. So disappointing there. Ipswich, well, they can turn this around. We'll go into 3rd place. Millwall and Ipswich will not need these defeats with the to the season. And at the bottom, Oxford, well, if they can get a win, we'll go to 32 points and have a slim chance at doing something. So Dunfermline, not really playing that one. Let's have a quick look through. We're coming to the end. Aston Villa, hope they don't concede a late goal. Out if you wanted of that lay earlier on. I found myself a bit of value. I'm just hoping that Leeds don't catch them with a late second goal. You can see the momentum has suddenly gone the way of the away side. Just hoping for a push late on from the villains. Red card involved in this Desmond Tutu. It's a bit of a sloppy one from Dundee, leading 1-2 against the 10 men have let in a goal. Peterborough and Exeter. Another late Desmond if you wanted it, given the fact that Peterborough could, with 10 minutes to go, put a cherry on top. Wow. There is a lot of Desmond 2-2s and 3-3s about today, isn't there? Look for the ones like this and at low odds as well. We need just to capture one of those Augsburg-like ones and it'll more than make up for the lost liabilities on the others. So just work my way through and then I'll call it a day as these leagues end. So nothing much doing outside of the watch list. I think Lens should point towards 3 points today against the Champions League Monaco. Get them while they're distracted. In League, Bolton and Blackpool, well, going the way of the market if you followed the market. Difficult one to trust these derby matches. So that's it at the moment. I'm just waiting. See any more news. So matches of interest for me. If we can get an Aston Villa equaliser. Disappointed with this one because I called it right. Even the 1-2. Just couldn't get out. Very disappointing. Betfair costing me. Maybe Ipswich, if they have done this before. So I'll be looking at 1.09 here. They have done this before away from home, Ipswich. So they're in, ready and waiting for a late burst. We can get that 4-4. Stockport, well, they've had a shot on target at last. Big gap between their first and second most recent shots on target. 12 shots off and 5 corners. Now, that's going to get interesting the later we get into this one. Could be a bit too high for me at the moment. But warming up nicely. That's more like it, isn't it? And at the right time of the match. But still a long way to go. Might be some extra time in this one. But just the one shot on target since the 58th minute is a slight concern. But knocking on that door and the momentum is rising. So that's good. Similar story to bring that one up for a possible late assault. It looks like the 0-0-itis is going to continue for Oxford United. I'm going to go 1.09 and 1.06. And see if we can get that most late winner. It could be season defining in as far as the gap between themselves and third place is concerned. You don't want to be going into the playoffs. You want to be automatically promoted. 5-3 for Wrexham, so no late Ipswich winner today, or Ipswich equaliser today. But my plays would not have been matched, which means I get my liability returned. So there's absolutely no worries with that one at all. An excellent match. So I'll get rid of that. So Stockport, 109, 106. Middlesbrough, 1.09, 1.06. You can see the momentum's rising, but the clock is ticking. Aston Villa, I think Leeds have done a number, and it's yet another 0-1 defeat for Unai Emery at home. As long as he can keep that Leeds away from that second goal, I'll take the break even there. Aberdeen and Dundee, I'm not going to be playing myself. There's a little bit of time left. 3.48 expected goals when you've already scored 10 men. It looks compelling again for a late lay the draw, and there we go. It's already arrived, and looks like Dundee FC have got the goal, which they deserved. 3.48 XG. Would have been a late play for me, that one. I'll have to say ta-ra to that one. Peterborough, the posh, I can't trust, I'm afraid. But it's a good story. Can they dot the I's and cross the T's, having done all of the work second half to get back into this one? And Stockport get the Desmond Tutu in the bag. Did you get involved? I was an absolute idiot, of course. 1.09, 1.06. But if you got involved earlier on than me, well done. Well, the answer there, Nick, Stockport had the momentum there. We can't. Villa equaliser. Oh, that's very nice, Mr. Forty. Let's have a look. Now, this was a complete accident, laying over 1.5 goals and then forgetting about it. Now, it's a bit lukewarm. I don't think the market thinks this match is over. I better take this because this brings back some of the lost liability on the Millwall match, for example. So I'm 1 step forward, 2 steps back at the moment. So in future, if you see a pattern of 0-1 defeats at home and you see them keeping single goal, then you can lay over 1.5 goals and sit on it. I did it completely by accident. Got very good value in the +1 market there for the villains. Stockport, if you laid the draw, well done. Middlesbrough, not quite Stockport level momentum rise and running out of time. And Burnley, late equaliser. Oh, I missed Rossinia's lay there. I'm out of the villains now, thankfully. The goals are flowing. Are they flowing in any of my late plays? Peterborough and Exeter's getting short enough and layable enough. Anything under 1.09, if you're going to do mass late lays like this, keep that liability as low as possible, while having still a good chance of a return. If one of them comes in, it'll more than adequately cover the rest. Bolton and Blackpool, again, leaving local derbies alone, but it's been a humdinger if you're an odds-on favourite fan. Can they pull off the late winner? Millwall, just a nothing I can do about it. I have to let it go. Harrogate against Bromley. Well, Harrogate need 3 points, but the clock is ticking. 23 shots. Quite. Norwich. Well, I should have got out at the 11 quid profit, to be honest with you. I was just looking for that swing. Not looking for a 2-2, to be honest. Just on instinct based on their recent winning form. So I should have taken it at 11 because it eats into the losses on Millwall. Let's have a look at the Chelsea match. Burnley are, well, they're not going to benefit. Still suspenders at the moment. Could be a late winner in there somewhere. Cheltenham and Salford. Oh, I don't like Salford, sorry. And did a good thing here, leaving the Brentford-Brighton match alone. Really good in form. But please note, 2.3 the favourite, okay? That's when you get results that you can't necessarily fathom or read. So that's it, really, coming to the end. I'll say goodnight to you now. I'll see how long I can last this evening, just waiting for a Middlesbrough winner. Thanks very much for coming along and for your input. Have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you on Telegram. Measuring momentum. Hi, Nick. The tool I use is at InPlay Guru. Is that graph there? You could, Nick, I think it's sofascore.com. I think if you can find yourself a live match and you can find a momentum graph, Nick, for free. There we go. So it's a different format. Have a play around here, Nick, at SofaScore and see if there's anything for free that meets your needs. Maybe that momentum is a good starting point. You can see the attack. So just get used to, it may be obvious. Yeah, there we go. It's here, Aston Villa in green. And Leeds. So you see that rise in momentum midway through the second half. That's probably substitutions, isn't it? And some good spurts from Leeds, particularly some pressure there. So I hope that helps you. Thanks very much for coming along. I will see you on Telegram for a little bit longer. Have a great rest of your evening.